Hello, everyone. Welcome back to iGift Life's Inspiring Stories interview series. We are an NGO that focuses on organ donation awareness. Today, I have the pleasure of being joined by Mr. Milind Rahalkar, who is going to share with us his organ transplant journey. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Hi, Omkar. I'm doing great. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, sir. Sir, would you like to introduce yourself just briefly before we go into the question?
Yes. Let me introduce myself. My name is Milind Rahalkar. I am purely based out of the Pune. I am married person with the 2 kids. My wife is professor and I have 2 sons. One of my son has completed engineer. Other one is also doing engineer, and I am working as IT professional consultant with the Cognizant Technology since 15 years. That's very brief discussion about me, and I am staying in the Sahakar Nagar, Pune area.
Right, that's good to hear, sir. So, shall I just dive into the questions now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So, firstly, we'd like to know, how would you describe your initial reaction when you found out that you needed an organ transplant?
Okay, Omkar, let's talk about the story here, how it happened. Basically, the liver transplant or organ transplant was not new for me. Okay, as far as my career is concerned and my stay is concerned, if you see, I was in the United States since I was staying since almost 10 years. So in the year 99, there was some incident happened. Okay, some incident happened. I got some vomiting and something happened. So I did a lot of checks and some blood tests and all those things. So at that time, it came to me from the doctor that my liver is not functioning properly. Okay, my liver is hardly functioning around 65% as far as normal human beings' liver is concerned. So at that time, there was the trigger or some input signal came to me that my liver is not as per the normal human being. So at that time, doctor decided we have certain temporary solution, and at this moment, like basically they told me about what do you mean by liver transplant. But even though at that time it happened in 1999, liver transplant or organ transplant was not that much popular because of the technology and there were restrictions. So many things, infrastructure was not available. And the thing, my case was, doctor told me that means definitely in the future life you have to go for the liver transplant because your liver is not functioning. But they said right now it is not that much critical, and whenever the time will come, you need to go liver transplant. That you need to remember within your life. I can't tell you what time it will come and when you have to go. But time being, we are operating with some surgery, and that will survive you for longer time. So they did the story, and then later on my journey started. My life was okay and all those things. So you want me to continue for this story, or you want to come to the directly point?
Yeah, so how long did it take before you had to finally get the transplant? What was the
Correct. So let's continue with this. Let's continue with this story. So I almost spent around 99 to 2017. Almost I spent 19 to 20 years on the treatment. Everything was fine. When we permanently shifted to India, I have to do the continuous follow-up with the gastroenterologist. Because when I left the US and came back to India, settled down to India, doctor told me that you have to have regular follow-up with the gastroenterologist, who is nothing but liver specialist. We call it as a gastroenterologist. So I had a very good follow-up with the Pune some specialty doctor, Dr. Vinay Thorat. He was one of the topmost gastroenterologists within the Pune area. So I did the follow-up for the 10 years completely. And later on, after doing certain things, and after some time, there were some symptoms started appearing on me. And the time came, they said, sir, your some parameters are not correct. So I will definitely recommend you. Now the time has come. I can't now handle the situation. You need to approach some another team. So at that time I came to know, he told, sir, now you go to some other specialist and consult them. My role is finished because your parameters are too much varying, those parameters. Mm-hmm. So then my story started for the liver transplant.
Right. And throughout this experience, so when you found out that you needed the transplant, do you think you had access to adequate information about transplants in India?
Correct. No, I was not having that much knowledge, or nobody has informed. Then after this story end, they told me to consult one of the doctor. Basically, she was also from the Pune, and her role was, she was the liver transplant director for the Ruby Hall Clinic, Pune. She is the proper person who can guide me. So she guided me what is the liver transplant and what is going to happen and how we are operating. Entire process has been started from her name was Dr. Sheetal Mahajani. She is the liver transplant consulting surgeon, not surgeon, she is a consultant gastroenterologist for the Sahyadri Hospital, Pune, Deccan area. So I approached her and she told me once, what do you mean by liver transplant, how it is being done, and what are the processes involved, and how you will do these things. So entire story she told me, and I got some knowledge, and we also started exploring more things on the Google and all those things. That's about it.
Right. Yeah. We can't stay away from Google. We have to.
Yes. I agree perfectly. Some knowledge I gained from the Google as well.
Right. Yeah. And so you finally got the transplant. Could you tell us about how the actual procedure impacted your lifestyle and well-being, and whether it made it better or you had to suffer for a bit?
Yes. So as far as life is concerned, means I will go in little bit into the medical side area, because when I came to know I have to go for the liver transplant, basically I was having the problems that I was started having some symptoms before doing the liver transplant, and there was always tension in my mind. There are certain parameters called bilirubin. That is, if you see the blood reports, there is one factor when you do. There is a blood test called liver functioning test. Okay, which has one of the factor called bilirubin, and it has normal range. If it is very high, above the 3.5 or some level, I don't remember. If it is high, you start having certain problem. So problem or symptoms started appearing on my body, especially swelling was going to happen, especially on my legs. My legs were getting swelling, and my eyes were like looking drug addict person, or they were getting swelled. So I came to know these are the symptoms started, and so later on there was always tension in my mind. Whenever I woke up, legs are swelling or eyes are swelling, so definitely something is going to happen, and now we have to go for transplant. So that is the story started, and once my transplant happened, basically that is different story. How this transfer happened, that is then later on I started absolutely perfectly all right, no symptoms, and my parameters were absolutely fine.
Wow.
I'm perfectly fine, all right.
That's wonderful.
You can be, I'm walking, I'm doing exercise, I can drive the car, I can swimming, I have traveled abroad as well, so I'm perfectly all right and doing fine.
The miracle of modern medicine.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Omkar.
And since I know that you went through the waiting list, could you tell us about the waiting list experience?
Yeah, waiting list happened, how it worked basically. See, Omkar, earlier days, in very long time, 10 years back, there were things happening. You might have heard there were scams happening. People were selling the organs for the money and all those things. That process has completely stopped now. How the things work here, if you are looking for any organ like kidney or liver or anything, you have to follow the certain process. There is a institute called ZTCC, that is name called ZTCC. That institute is available. You have to do the registration on that I'm looking for the organ. There is some registration fees, and all the procedure has to be completed. It requires certain lot of blood test reports. I almost spent around 2 lakhs rupees blood test.
Right.
And those report has to be uploaded and enter that. That will be being done by my liver transplant consultant Sheetal Mahajani. Then you get listed onto that portal. They tells you your name has been registered in our portal, and there is some waiting queue was going on. So this queue work basically on the basis of your blood report, because as far as liver transplant is concerned, very, very important factor is your blood group.
Okay.
So entire story started. If you have A positive, then you will require the person who is donating the organ, he should also have A positive blood group.
Right. Okay. So based on your blood tests, they enter you into the waiting list.
Correct.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. At iGift Life, we understand that the role of the family is very, very important in the whole organ transplant process. So
Correct.
could you tell us a little bit about how your family reacted throughout this organ transplant process?
Yes, Omkar. Basically, if you talk about the transplant word, people get scared. Okay, I have seen so many people who doesn't know where is the liver. Forget about the transplant word. People are so much mature, they doesn't know where is your liver, left, right, top, bottom. They also, I've seen some people. They ask me, "Oh, where is the liver?" So that is the story, and there is a literacy in the India. People doesn't know. So after I came to know, I was on the trip, and suddenly I came to Pune, and doctor told me, you have hardly 2 hours, and she told me that we have some person available who is willing to donate the organ. Okay, so cadaver, that is called as cadaver. That is means those are nothing but your brain dead cases. Some
Right.
people got accident and they are willing to donate the organ. So that message came to me. So it was my basically first of all I was thankful to God that I was here in the Pune, because stories are, if they means doctor tells you we will give you hardly 3 hours, so it is your luck. You should be in that city, you should be able to reach to the hospital, and you should be physically fit, all right, within all the parameters. You
Right.
should not have cold cough and anything. So when I came to know that cadaver is available, I started crying. I was not able to decide what to do, because I was thinking about my job, because I was working in the project, and doctor has told me, remember, you have to do the absconding thing. Like you can't tell company I need, whenever it will happen, I can also tell. So I started, oh, how come I will survive? My job will go. I am also not sure whether I will come back or not.
Right.
That is very important, because you don't know how it is successful or not. So many things happen at the last moment.
Right.
But unfortunately, due to help of the God and my good work in past, so I got everything fine, and doctor was also excellent, and I got operated.
Wow. That's really wholesome and
Yeah.
heartwarming to
Yes. Yes. Again, here luck factor also comes, Omkar. So many parameters. If I talk, there are so many things. If you get the only the donor, that is not the thing happens. Okay, in this case, because so many parameters are considered when any organ transplant happens. Simple things I will tell you. Just I will not go in depth. I will tell you simple thing. Your physical appearance. Because doctor told me the person who operates liver transplant, that is different. He's called surgeon, and my madam was consultant. So there are two different roles. The person who operates you, basically, who does the cutting of your stomach and all, he has to see you physically, and they tells you, even if you come to the hospital, you get hospitalized, and if you have any fever or any problems within your body, we are not going to operate you. You have to go back.
Oh.
So that is very important. So it again comes, your luck comes into the picture. If you have simple fever, they will not take the risk. Even though organ donor is available, they will not operate you. So everything came properly in mind. I got operated.
Right. Wow. All right. So now I'll move on to our last question, which is a little more broad, and that is that, like you said, people in India don't know a lot, and a lot of people have apprehensions about organ donation because they think it's not okay according to their own religion. So, what
Correct.
do you think we can do to address this issue?
See, basically things like due to religion it happens. And here the question is like, when person dies, people are in different mood, or I have seen these things basically. Because for the doctor, if I am doctor or you are the doctor, for you there are two choices, okay? Because one person is dying and you are give life to other person. So always remember that if the person is dying, doctor has declared that you are brain dead, you are not going to be more than 24. But doctor is much more happy that she is going to save another person's life who is going to live long for more than 30-40 years.
Mm-hmm.
So then people are not aware of this. What happens means they always think from the religion perspective. Once person is dead, they are not in a different mood. So even I have seen people are fighting. They are started biting the doctors. At this scene, like you are asking us that our person is dead, and how come you are talking all these bullshit things like give the organ, and people have that mentality, but they are not aware. Yeah, we are saving the life of other person. We have gone. We are going dead. But those things I have seen personally in my life. And it's not like you have to you should be mentally prepared. Like now everybody has to fill up the form. We have the organ donation awareness also. We have helped the people. We have taken, even myself has filled out the form, like what are the organs we can donate the people, and if we are going to save the other person's life, definitely that will be the more happiest in your, that will be the more this one for your in your life. I can't say the word properly, but you are saving the one person's life.
Correct. That is what we try to educate people about at iGift.
Correct. We have to educate the people that you are going to give the life to other person.
Right. Yes.
And correct. And because organ is given by God and it comes only once. Okay. Nobody can get that twice, or you will not get the kidney twice, or you can put that.
Absolutely.
Is only once manufactured by God itself. So that the story happened for me, and I am perfectly all right.
That's wonderful to hear, sir. So with that, we're done with most of the formal questions. This was a lovely conversation to have, and thank you for taking time out for our cause. Before we end the interview, is there anything you'd like to say to our audience?
Definitely, I will say, basically nobody knows when I'm talking directly with it. Nobody is going to know what is going to happen in your future. I will definitely recommend the people to fill out the forms for the organ donation, and they will give the life to the people. That is my basically message to everyone. Because what happens when it happens, because so many accidents are happening, people are dying on the road, but they are not aware of the things that even if this story happens, we can save the life of the people. So always think about this and fill out the forms and go to the proper institute or organizations. They are helping you. I think I am really thankful for your organization also. They are doing excellent work and they are educating the people. I'm really appreciated, and thanks for your company also.
Thank you so much, sir.